What's up, good people? It's your boy C. Wit from Boys to Gentlemen. Real quick, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button and go ahead and click that bell so you can be notified anytime we drop new videos. I did a very emotionally charged video yesterday, and it was in response to Lil Boosie. If you haven't already seen it, I'm going to leave the link for that video in the description. But we have got to start addressing this humongous elephant in the room, and that is the rape culture and sexual molestation of our young men. Now, I don't want to get lost in the uproar with the rage. I understand those feelings are going to come for certain people, different responses, different perspectives. I get that. But I want to particularly preference this video on what steps we can do to focus on the addressing the actual issue, which is rape culture. So the first one that I have for you, listening. Having a listening ear. I know many of us think that we're good listeners, but truth be told, we're not. Oftentimes, we're simply listening to respond. We're treating the conversation as if it's a game of double dutch and we're trying to jump in on our turn in the midst of somebody talking and not fully taking intentional time to hear and dissect what that person is saying to make sure you're gaining a better understanding. We have got to become better listeners. Sometimes if you are at a place where you're so fearful that you're going to forget what you got to say in the situation, write notes. Literally come down. Ask somebody if they're comfortable with us recording a conversation for no other purpose, for me to make sure I can go back and listen so I'm not missing something, thinking that you said something that you didn't. Be better listeners. That is the absolute first step in even beginning any type of communication. Now, the second step that we can take is sharing our own truths. It is a very difficult thing for men to come out and say things like I've been molested or I've been sexually assaulted. It's even more difficult in an environment and a climate where your sexual assault isn't considered sexual assault. I do a video series here on YouTube that's my journey to healing from sexual assault. And the reason that I did that, because I can't tell you how many times my assault has been praised. My assault has been viewed as a pleasure and not what it was. It was a travesty. It was something that robbed me of a part of myself that I wasn't able to get back, and that even as an adult, I'm still healing from. It is damage that's taken into relationship after relationship after relationship. It's damage that's often carried out and portrayed in your children. The Boosie video was a best example I can give of that. I am almost certain, and I will stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, he did what he was taught to do when he was 12 and 13, believing that he's doing something right, carrying on a legacy of trauma. That it is exactly how we create the very monsters that we try to hunt when it comes to sexual predators. Now, that last step, this might be the most important step out of them all. We have got to focus on healing over vengeance. It is so easy to become irate. It is so easy to call for blood. It is so easy to say, let's cancel Boosie, let's do it. He is not the root of this issue. I repeat, he is not the root. He is a symptom. His belief, his actions are not new. He just came out and actually stated it. We have got to focus on the healing, taking those steps to give these young men the opportunity to speak their truth, us being more diligent and making sure we having those conversations with our young boys and making sure that we're protecting their innocence, making sure we're protecting their childhood. No 12, 13-year-old boy is supposed to be sexually exploited. And what I mean by sexually exploited, it's not okay for an adult. I don't care how attractive she is. It is not okay for her to come and utilize any type of sexual preference on this young man, on this boy. Let me stop using the word man. These are our boys. These are our sons. And if we tell the truth collectively, we have failed to protect them in our community. It's time for us to begin to take stands. These are 3 ways that we are going to begin to heal our communities. And you may think, oh well, you know, I'm not really worried about that. It's not a big deal. You may think differently when the very boy that you didn't protect is the reason why your daughter wasn't protected. Now, I know that hits some people the wrong way, but again, let's step aside from the vengeance and let's get to the aspect of healing. Healing these young men makes it safer for your daughter. And that's something that we have to address. That's something that we need to know. I don't want to get into the finger pointing. I don't want to get into the blaming, but I absolutely do want to get into the conversation of us focusing on healing our sons. This is From Boys to Gentlemen, and I love y'all. Let's keep this conversation rolling.